Well, because I figured you back for the soul set. I tell you what, how to play this little solo game. For button side games called Count of the Nine Estates, designed by Scott Allen uh, Sizz. Kaziz? I don't know how you pronounce the last name. I apologize. Based on an older game that he designed called just simply Count of Nine, which was a 9 card game, but this is an 18 card game. Of course, you get the rules, you get all the cards. In the game, you get these 9 estate cards that have this free peasants, free clergy, and free nobility. And you're going to have to try to build a peasant first, and then the clergy, and then maybe nobility if you get to it. On the cards, they have a point total. That's how many points you'll get for it. And what the item is, a harbor. And here, requirements to be able to buy this one. You would need a market and a sip right from these cards. And 1 worker. Some cards, like this town square, give you a resource you can use. It's all about worker placement and resource. Well, not really worker placement, but resources. And this is gold. And this gold can be used as any resource, where it's aside from workers, but like wood and bricks and food and stuff like that. So I have those, and it's just a one-sided card. These ones are double-sided. You will start with this side that has these square edges, but eventually, as you discard cards, you will flip them over to this side. The cards have resources. You're going to be able to use whichever one is on top. You're going to have these cards like this, sideways, and you're going to be able to use this resource. You will have 2 available, pretty much any time, plus whatever is in the discard. And you can use those resources to build these different locations, which have different requirements. This one needs a worker and a brick. This one needs lumber. Now with this one, we'll give you a sawmill. I'll give you a wood resource for whenever you want it. This one will give you food, etc., etc. And again, you need certain ones for certain of these cards. So keep that in mind. Now, one thing you will see as well is it says here demolition team and stonemason. That's what's on the other side. That's a little reference. So we can give everything a shuffle. For these ones, you can shuffle them up, turn them around. Some more shuffling, some more rotating, and we're ready to go. These ones, you're going to separate it to peasant, clergy, and nobility. And you will shuffle them up a little bit and just deal them out into a 3x3 grid. And so you're going to have these. And actually, I'm going to slide them all the way down here because you can't see them. And the way it's going to work is later on, as an example, if I were to build these city walls, I would get 3 points and I would get a worker out of it. Then, when I do that, once I build this peasant estate, the rest of these peasants would be wiped out. And if I build this one, I would also wipe out this column. So when I build one of these, I take out this whole row and the whole column. And then we'll just be left with 2 and 2. And then eventually, 1, you know. Again, I'm going to solve these over a little bit. So for this here, I'm going to turn this, I can turn this which way I want. And turn it like this. You have the ability to, well, take the top one and I could rotate it if I want, but I'm not going to. And I'm regretting that already. So I will. And the reason is because I saw there's another brick here, or a brick, and this one is a worker. So these are resources I have available, and this is a brick. I can use that to build a church. Looking at these here, I need a blacksmith and a market, a blacksmith and a quarry, market and a shipwright. So church isn't high priority right now. But I cannot build a blacksmith because I would need ore, which is this other symbol. And the quarry I can build. So I'm going to use this brick and this worker to build this quarry. So I'm going to put this here into a column. And this is going to be discarded. Now when I discard this, I'm going to flip this the other way. And now I can get the demolition team, which will let me discard this card to place a build structure into the discard pile. So it will let me get rid of a build structure. But it costs 2 workers, and this one is a stonemason, which requires a quarry to be able to get it as well as a worker. So I can't get either one of those. So what I'm going to do is we get to sift this one over. And now we have gold. Gold is wild. I can use that as the bricks or the wood or the ore or the food. So which one do I want to do here? And I don't have a worker anymore. So a little bit boned in that regard. So I cannot do this. I'm going to discard it. And anytime you cannot or do not want to do something, you just discard that card. The shipwright, by the way, is worth a point, an extra bonus point. So we got the gold again. We got 2 golds. Oh, well, that's helpful. And I cannot access the resources on the bottom, in case you're wondering. Oh, this hurts. I need a worker to be able to do something. I can always, do these ones as well if possible. At the moment, I cannot. Now we got gold, and this is terrible. I did a terrible job of shuffling. I got gold and wood, but I can't do anything with gold and wood. Because I need a worker, and I don't have a worker. And I do have the brick here as well if I wanted to use. Get my gold. So this one, I do not believe this. This one would give me a worker, but I can't get it because I need a worker. Every card, all of these ones need workers, and I got all the workers on the bottom where I can't use them. This is not going well. Well, it's going to be discarded. Hey, finally we get a worker so we can do something, maybe. Well, I can do the worker and this ore to put in a blacksmith. I might as well. To do this mill, which is worth 2 points, I would need a farm and a stonemason. I don't have either. So let's just do the blacksmith. And it's going to do this. And then this is the last card for this round. So I'm going to do the school. And if I could do this one, I would. But I don't have anything to do that, so I can't. Now, I should point out, if I do use this like quarry ability, I'm going to tilt it sideways to indicate I've used it. We're off to a horrible start with only 3 cards. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these, shuffle them up, and do some spinning, please, and start over again. So we're going on to now what is called the second era. Basically, we have 2 different eras. No, we're not going on to the second era. We're just going on to the second round. Second era will be once I've kind of gone through all these cards, I can start over fresh and start over with a new era. But let's just see where we're at right now. So we got 2 workers. And I also have the quarry, which has an ability, which has a thing I can use there. That's wood. That doesn't do me good for quarry. Yeah. This one, the armory needs a blacksmith, which I do have. So I'm going to spend the worker and get this card here, the armory with the, because I had the blacksmith. So blacksmith and a worker. So we spent this worker. So I guess we discard it and slide this over. We got food and a worker. That could let me get a farm. And I could also do the, well, we already have a quarry. We don't really need another one. But it is worth an extra point if we get a duplicate. Oh, since we're starting a second round, we have to play this to a second column. Forgot about that. The goldsmith requires gold. I wonder if that could just be, I guess it could be anything. So I'm going to do the farm. We're going to spend these, get the farm, put that in there. And then we have 2 lumbers. That's not very helpful. The market would be nice, but it requires wood and a worker, which I don't have. I do have the wood. I don't have a worker in any of these cards. So yeah, can't do that. I think, how many cards do we have left here? We got a couple. I'm going to discard this and see what we get. We get, okay, this requires a quarry and a worker, which I don't have the worker. The tavern is wood and a worker. And I can still do this one. I can actually just rotate the last one. And I do get the worker. So I can do the sawmill with this worker and the quarry we already have. So I got 3 cards left. I can do this. We might be able to do one more card or 2, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do now is end this first era. Before I do that, I want to see if I can get one of these locations. So this one requires a worker, a blacksmith, and a quarry, which I do have. This one requires a, well, technically I probably do need to continue to get a worker, so this is going to suck a little bit. But there you go. The worker in this gets me this tavern, goes into the 3rd row, and gives me a worker. And then we can just discard that, and we can stop there. So that's going to be the end of the era. Now we're going to do some scoring. Hang on. Well, we're about to do some scoring first. I need to get a place in place here. Excuse me. So this one will require a blacksmith and a market. We don't have a market. We do have the blacksmith. The city walls will require a blacksmith and a quarry, which we can do. And this one, a market and a shipwright, which we don't have. So we can disqualify those 2. We have to get this one. It's going to cost us the blacksmith. Well, we need to have a blacksmith and a quarry and a worker, which we got the worker with the tavern, as you can see by the symbol. And so we're going to get this. It's worth 3 points. Yay. So these ones are going to be gone, and these 2 middle ones are going to be gone as well. And now we're looking at clergies and the nobilities for the 2nd era. This is the end of an era. We're going to do 2 eras. So we're going to do all this again one more time, and hopefully get at least 1 more of these, if not 2 of them. But first, we shall score some points. Era 1. So we get 3 points for this. We don't have any points on any of these cards, like this one gives me 2 points, for instance. We don't got any of those. We get 1 point for each of these locations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 10 points. If we had any duplicates, if we had, let's say, 2 sawmills, for instance, we get an additional point. For those 2 sawmills, we don't. And so 1 point for each structure, 1 point for each duplicate structure. And then we're going to subtract 2 points for each round played in that era, including incomplete rounds. Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Minus 2, 4, 6 is 4 points. Yay. I'm not doing well. The scoring, by the way, after 2 eras is this. If you get 26 or more, it's great. Doing 20 or more is pretty good. 18 or more. We're lucky if we get 14. I'm going to say. So we're going to take all these cards and keep this here. We did not score this again in the second round, but it stays there. And we'll just take all these cards, shuffle them, do some flipping, and yeah. I will leave that one as is. We'll slide it over. We need a worker and food, so we can put up that farm. So let's do it. I will discard the used card. That opens up farm again. Food. Food or gold. Okay, gold is good. Unfortunately, we don't have any workers here. So we'll discard this one and move on. And again, no worker. We're doing the same thing again. And again, no worker, so that doesn't really help me. Well, I do actually, I lied. I do have the worker here on the city wall. Forgot about that. So, do I want to rewind and just double check, making sure I'm not screwing myself over? I'm going to do this tavern. So, when I use this worker, I'm going to tilt it sideways. And I'm going to do the tavern, which gives me a worker. And requires the worker I just used and wood, which I'm using this gold for. It's a wild. So then this can be discarded. Okay. We got something going on. So now we got another worker we can use. And I got to look at what these cards need. So this one requires a worker in 2 churches, a worker, a school, and a stonemason. This one's going to require 2 workers for a large castle, a smaller castle, 1. So maybe I want to go for the monastery. It's only 3 points, but I might be able to still do the castle. That being said, this gets me a gold wild, and this one does get me a worker though, so that could be helpful. So I want to get churches. Build some churches, I say. So I'm going to use a worker though in the tavern, and this wood, it's wood or the farm that we have here, the food, to build an inn, which gives me another worker, which could be valuable. And then we get gold, and there's a church, a worker, and a brick. We don't have a brick, unfortunately. That doesn't help, so I'm going to discard this. Make sure we don't have anything that it's useful. No worker again, eh? We do get the query though, which can help us get that brick. So I'm going to use the food and this worker to pick up this quarry. Let me just sell these over, which gives me brick, which I can then use the brick and the worker I no longer have to get the church down. Okay, we'll discard that, and we have one card left here, which is an armory, which requires a blacksmith. Which we don't have a blacksmith. All right. And this, okay, so we can't, damn it, we can't do that. Let's just see if we can get lucky here. Stonemason and the blacksmith, goldsmith, and the sawmill. Let me just double check something too. So yeah, since we're starting a new round, we do get all these resources back. So there is that. So that's very helpful. So I'm going to use a worker. You can say this one and this lumber to get a sawmill. I will discard this one that we didn't use. Actually, this one has a worker, so we'll use that worker and discard that. There's a church. We need a brick and a worker. We have the brick. We have the worker. Actually, we have the worker right on here. We'll just use that one. We get the church we wanted. Do we have another church? We have a church on this side. Okay. So I don't want to use that one. So I'm just going to discard it and get to the church. Although it does require a, well, let's just say it's going to require the quarry because we need another brick. Unless we have a wild that we can use, which we don't. How are we going to get that church? Well, we're going to get a quarry, I guess. But that requires the brick we don't have, that we already used. So we can't do that. Might have... Darn it. Well, let's just discard this one and see what happens. The church requires, again, the brick and the worker. We do have the worker. We don't have the brick. I can actually turn this one around, though, because it's the last one. It's a bonus thing, as far as I know anyways. So I do get the brick and the worker to build that church. And then that, I do get a worker here, and I'm going to use this lumber and this worker to get this shipwright. Yeah. If it's worth a point, so I might as well do that. And then, do I want to get one more card? Can I get one more card? I do have the worker, I do have the farm, so I might as well. I'll spend those two and get the farm, a second farm. Put it in there, and that's it. We can't do anything else. I think that worked out okay. So, this one will require a school and a stonemason, which we don't have. But this one requires two churches and a worker. It does give us a worker, not that we're going to use it. Well, we might use it. We do have the worker here in the inn. I should probably make sure these are all still tilted off to the side. And this one was tilted. So we do get that worker. We'll use a worker. We get rid of this one now. And we're going to get rid of the large castle. Can we do this castle? It requires an armory, a goldsmith, a stonemason. Nope. We don't have those items. Never mind. So, we'll do one final scoring here. See how we get. So, get 3 points again for that card. Let's write this down. 1 point for this, so it's 4 points. We're starting off okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the duplicates, 12, 13 for the farm duplicates, 13, 17 points. Minus 2, 4 is, if I can do freaking math in my head, 13, right? So that's a total of 17, which means the king is unmoved. We just failed to impress him. Gosh darn it. Came so close. Unless I scored something incorrectly, but I believe that was it. Well, yeah, so the structures and estates only score the points in the area they were built, so I cannot score that one again. It is what it is. It's a nice game. Good quality cards with linen finish. Pretty cool. Took way longer than expected, though. I apologize. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Check out Button Side Games. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Solo Sunday.